And let me go straight to Washington, D.C., where Sajeeb Wazed is joining me live now, Sheikh Hasina's son. Sajeeb, thank you for speaking to India today. My first question is, you would have heard about the verdict which has come in. What are your thoughts? The death sentence announced against your mother, the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Look, everyone knew this sentence was predetermined. These trials were rushed. I mean, it's a historic trial, and they finished it in, 2 months, 3 months. This is an unelected, unconstitutional, undemocratic government. They amended the laws, which can't be done without Parliament, to enable this trial. She was not allowed to send her own defense attorneys. It's a complete mockery of justice.
Okay, but Sajeeb, my next question would be, when did you last speak to your mother? Did you speak to her after the sentence was announced?
No, actually, I'm sure she has been on the phone. I've called her. I've not had a chance to speak to her. She did not answer, so I have not spoken to her in a couple of days.
As far as the legal route is concerned, what is the family planning to do next? What is Awami League, your mother's party, going to do next?
Right now, there is no rule of law in Bangladesh. The constitution is basically being disregarded. So right now, there's nothing much to do. Once the rule of law returns, all of this will get thrown out on appeals, because the entire process is so illegal and unconstitutional that it will not survive. So any legal process will have to wait until there is a rule of law in Bangladesh.
I'm looking at the statement, Sajeeb, which was put out by Yunus interim government on this verdict. And it says that this is a historic verdict, realizing that the profound significance of this verdict, the interim government is calling on the people of all walks of life to remain calm, restrained, and responsible. It goes on to say that this verdict, which has been long awaited by the people, especially the relatives of the martyrs of the July uprising, may naturally generate emotions in the public mind. The sense is that this is what the people of Bangladesh were waiting for.
Actually, on the contrary, for the last few days, the people of Bangladesh, we have had total shutdowns. Our party called for shutdowns, and the people responded. So Dhaka city and other cities were shut down. People stayed home. So how do you know what the people want without even an election, without an elected government? You cannot know that. This is an unelected government. How can they speak for the people?
Okay, a word now on the details which have emerged, of course, that the former police chief who sought an apology from the tribunal and the people of the country, and hence he was pardoned. This is with regards to Police Chief Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamoon over the same charges.
I don't know about that. You will have to ask his family.
Okay, well, so let me go through this entire, the order which has come in again, Sajeeb. The government has described its July Charter reforms as essential to prevent authoritarianism. How does then this, the sense is that this trial aligns with the democratic governance in Bangladesh, that this will ensure that the process of electing a democratic government will be expedited? Your thoughts on that?
How can you expedite democracy through an unelected, undemocratic government? How is that possible? That is a joke. This has been tried many times before. That is why Bangladesh is in the situation it is because of these undemocratic interventions. And so now the future is even worse. What you're going to have is Bangladesh becoming an Islamist state, probably similar to Iran or something, and you're going to have terrorism. You're going to have a failed state. That is what's going to happen.
The government of Muhammad Yunus is trying to justify Sheikh Hasina's order and has said that they were in absentia. What do you think will be the legitimacy of this verdict?
This verdict has no legitimacy. I think this will eventually get thrown out. Everything will get thrown out. This is just a show. They cannot do anything to my mother. I will have to go as I'm getting other calls. I have other interviews as well. So if we can wrap this up, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. My last question then, Sajeeb, what next for former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who was seen as the Iron Lady of Bangladesh? Will she be heading to Bangladesh at some point? Is she looking at participating in the elections which will be held in the country in 3 to 4 months from now?
Our party, they have banned our entire party, the largest party, from elections. So there's nothing democratic here. Right now, the option to participate is not there at all. There is no democracy in Bangladesh. So when democracy returns, of course she will return. But right now, there is no democracy. Our party is not allowed to participate. So the elections, again, are meaningless. They are another sham. So that question right now is not even possible.
Okay, so you are not sensing that there is a possibility of she going to Bangladesh in near future? Sheikh Hasina is not going to Bangladesh in near future?
No, she will. She will. When democracy returns, she definitely will. When this undemocratic government is gone, she definitely will return.
And will you be participating in the elections? Your party will be participating in the elections? Is that happening?
Right now, we are not allowed to. Right now, we are not allowed to, so it's not possible.
All right, Sajeeb Wazed.
The undemocratic regime has banned us.
Sheikh Hasina's son joining us from Washington, D.C. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to India Today. So this is the big India Today exclusive. Sheikh Hasina's son has called this verdict illegal, and he has said that Prime Minister Hasina has not been allowed defense lawyers. And remember, earlier Hasina had called this verdict politically motivated. Now, Sheikh Hasina herself had said that this is essentially a rigged tribunal which was against her. Now, her son, Sajeeb Wazed, spoke to India Today just a few seconds ago, and he has said that this verdict is illegal. Okay, another piece of breaking news coming in now, and this is with regards to the extradition demand of the Yunus government, which has warned India over Hasina's handover. In fact, Muhammad Yunus government aide of that government has said that this is act of enmity if Hasina is not extradited. Yunus government refers to Hasina as mass murderer. Dhaka has in fact cited extradition treaty with India. Dhaka has gone on to say that Hasina extradition is India's duty. Indrajit Kundu is joining us on the phone line, but before that, there is a reaction coming in.
আরেকটা কথা বলতে চাই, সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা শেখ হাসিনার কে দেশে প্রত্যর্পণের জন্য, এক্সট্রাডিশনের জন্য ভারতের কাছে আবার চিঠি লিখব। ভারত যদি এই গণহত্যাকারীকে আশ্রয় দেওয়া অব্যাহত রাখে, তাহলে ভারতকে বুঝতে হবে এটা বাংলাদেশ এবং বাংলাদেশের মানুষের বিরুদ্ধে একটা শত্রুতা, একটা অত্যন্ত নিন্দনীয় আচরণ।
Indrajit Kundu is joining me on the phone line. So some harsh words coming in from Asif Nazrul, who is the law advisor to the interim government of Muhammad Yunus. He says that extradition is a duty of India. And I've been speaking to some foreign affairs experts and former ambassadors, Indrajit. They are of the opinion that India will never do that. And when it comes to extradition, it doesn't really apply on political extradition. It may be for extradition of other kinds of criminals.
Well, this is a unique situation and a unique challenge for India. Bangladesh, of course, the Bangladesh Muhammad Yunus administration clearly playing to their own gallery, to their own audience, because Asif Nazrul, who is the law minister, the law advisor in the Muhammad Yunus government, he's gone hammer and tongs against India, saying that, it will be treated as an act of animosity if Sheikh Hasina is allowed to remain in India. But the Indian government is yet to clarify the exact status of Sheikh Hasina's stay in India. Has she been given political asylum? We haven't heard in as many terms from the Indian government regarding the exact status of Sheikh Hasina. She came here in an emergency, extraordinary situation. She was given shelter by the Indian administration, the Indian government. She has been a long-standing friend of the country. So that is understandable. But has she been officially given political asylum by the Indian government? The Indian government is yet to, clarify that or express that in words. What we do see, of course, is that the Ministry of External Affairs has now given a statement where they have said that the verdict announced by the International Crimes Tribunal, Bangladesh, quote unquote, concerning that India has noted the verdict. One, it's a very measured statement, and it also says that as a close neighbor, India remains committed to the best interests of the people of Bangladesh, including peace, democracy, inclusion, and stability in the country. So, India will have to do a fine balancing act, because at present, on ground, over the past 1 year, there is huge anti-India sentiment in Bangladesh, and that only gets fueled by.
All right, Indrajit, really appreciate your time. Let me bring in the guests who are joining us now. Shabkut Rabi is a political analyst and founder of Centrist Nation TV. Pinak Chakravarty is former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh. I'm going to begin with you, Ambassador Chakravarty. How do you look at this developing situation, particularly with what has been said by the legal advisor to the interim government, Mr. Asif Nazrul, who has gone to the extent of saying that this is India's duty? Does it really mean that India is legally bound to extradite the former Prime Minister? Because the sense is that this kind of extradition doesn't really apply to political asylum seekers.
Well, firstly, I think no country can demand extradition. Extradition is a legal process. I would like to remind your viewers that India itself has sought extradition of many criminals who are abroad, in UK, in USA. We have succeeded in some cases and we have not. But you have to go through the courts to get an extradition order. So I think that will apply in this case. But over and above all that, the extradition treaty that India has with Bangladesh also has a clause that there shall be no extradition for political reasons. Now, if you can interpret the Hasina's case as a political one, because it clearly, as she has said, it's a result of a vendetta. It's whatever it is that it was all fixed, etc. And there is some truth in that, because I've been talking to people earlier, and they said that she will definitely be given a death sentence because it has already been arranged. So I think these are the kind of things that have been happening. Now, if they wish to go on the rhetorical high road, they are welcome to do so. India will act according to the legal procedures. The law advisor apparently has said that India will be. So let them declare India as the enemy. And then we shall see how India has generally taken a low-key thing in this. I think the MEA has responded saying, in a very low-key manner, saying that we have noted these things. And India will continue to extend its hand of friendship to Bangladesh and will deal with whichever government is legitimately elected in Dhaka.
Okay, Ambassador Chakravarty, you have used a very interesting phrase where you say that extradition cannot be demanded; it has to be agreed upon between the two sides. And the tone and tenor of this government right now in Bangladesh is deeply, concerning. Particularly the tone which has been used that. Act of enmity if Hasina not extradited. Shabkut Rabi, how are you looking at the developing situation? Particularly that is there a sense on the ground among the people that Sheikh Hasina has not been given a fair trial? At least her side should have been heard. Her lawyers should have presented her side of the story.
So thanks for having me. There was definitely a lawyer appointed by the state. There are some procedural reasons why she didn't have her own lawyer. There was a state representative lawyer, Amir Hussain, probably was the name. This verdict, if you look at the legality of the verdict, there is no shortage of evidence on the internet that there was a massive amount of killing that took place during those 36 days of July and August in Bangladesh. The only issue is whether those killings were directed by Sheikh Hasina herself and how much proof that we can have regarding that. And fortunately, in this case, for the prosecution, there were some evidences, including the gentleman, the former police chief, who became a state witness and turned against her boss, his boss, which is Sheikh Hasina, and gave the witness that he received orders from her. So that was one. You have a live state witness here, like a special witness who's testifying against his political leader. And also, during that time, Bangladesh did not have internet, so Sheikh Hasina was talking over unencrypted telephone lines, and her own military or intelligence was tapping her. And those call recordings are now part of the trial. And those call recordings clearly showed some evidences that she was directing some of the helicopter attacks on students. So there were proofs, there are preponderance, abundance of proof all around the internet, and now you have a connection tying her directly. So that was used against her in this tribunal. And the ICT itself was created by Sheikh Hasina at some point to try her opponents, and she successfully executed multiple of her opponents through the ICT tribunal. So it was fair back then, I guess, for her. It should be fair now.
All right, let me give the last word to Ambassador Chakravarty. Ambassador Chakravarty, a word from you on how would you see the development unfold, particularly the legitimacy of this entire trial and also the legitimacy of the electoral process which will be following in Bangladesh.
Well, let me say that the legitimacy of the interim government and the fact that there is no provision for it in the constitution itself has been a big question. And now their actions, which have now resulted in this conviction of Hasina, will come under questioning as well, because after all, the judiciary itself has been overawed in a manner that there are questions as to their impartiality. Because if you remember, after the agitation was over and Hasina was ousted, the Supreme Court judges were forced to resign, almost at gunpoint, I'm told. And then the others were made Supreme Court judges. Now, who picked them? What was the process? Nobody knows. Obviously, they were handpicked so that verdicts, etc. So the judiciary was compromised, and I think the ICT has also been compromised. So these questions have arisen, and it has been asked before, and I think they will be asked now again. So I think this is a problem that they will have to face about this kind of opposition to this verdict, apart from the fact that the Awami League, the largest party in the country, stands banned from activities, etc., and its registration has been. So the next election also will come under question as to why should you have an election by banning a major party? These questions cannot be answered offhand. They will remain, and they will have to deal with these questions because everybody will be watching. And when you say we want free and fair and inclusive election, you can't have that by banning parties from participation.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Shabkut Rabi and Ambassador Chakravarty.